Hello, dear friends. Today I would like to discuss on two Zooms from veterans of the intelligence community of the United States. And I would like to criticize their approach to so called open data for artificial intelligence that is located in the CIA and in other um, brain center of the United States. Actually, open data from the CIA, I mean, from operators around the artificial intelligence, won't cook the porridge for Democratic Party by uh, MAGA, Make America Great Again. But non-structural data about possible collapse of Putin by this November, will speed the porridge cooking in favor of Donald Trump. That's what I wanted to say. And now you can read the whole text attached to this video. And now listen what it is.
It's
Well,
best not to tangle with CIA's AI and open sources about Ukraine, etc. On September 20th, important thoughts on cybersecurity, CS, were voiced by veterans of U.S. intelligence community. I covered some of them in the part 1. I planned to give more in 4 or 5 parts, but gave up this idea. Now see all of those brilliant ideas summarized on one page. The fact is that at the failed meeting on Zoom with the director of the CIA on September 28th, Mr. Blair was replaced by a certain horseradish from the mountain named Randy Nixon, and that desire of mine to cover ideas on September 20 was gone. Anyway, I will give a short number of ideas at the meeting on September 20th to contrast with the ideas of Randy Nixon about open source intelligence in Ukraine and in the world. He was grabbing along from his car. We, in the CIA, are to find the needle in the field of needles. So, he definitely overestimated the CIA's efforts as much as he could. But the USIC veterans stand for using such a painstaking in looking for a needle in the field of ones. Veterans offer wider usage of newest AI tools from the private sector. Anyway, a wise and pretty woman moderator delicately and flatteringly asked him prepared questions, probably for the sake of donations from the state treasury and from the CIA. And the impression of mine is as follows. With Randy Nixon's AI intelligence, from open sources, it's best not to tangle with such a mess with Ukraine that, like Afghanistan for the USSR, it's only a child's play to what is on the way for the still ruling Dems. Now let me briefly describe the conflict between the developers of AI based in the USIC and bureaucrats and regulators from the Department of Justice and the hordes of completely useless Dems as regulators with a bunch of renegade Republicans, anti-MAGA on Capitol Hill. Let's see what comes on October 7-10 at the Cipher Tree Conference with the alive, as I hope, the CIA director where some of these questions are to be discussed or ignored. 1. The private sector has dramatically overtaken the development of AI by all CS laws from the Biden administration. 2. Dems in the National Security Agency, NSA, according to these laws, misinform the U.S. public on businesses with the Chinese factor and the Putin's nuclear threat. 3. Cyber innovations such as ChatGPT-4 negate the practice of the NSA with its protection of the United States from hackers on the model of punishing dissidents in the USSR, Russian Federation. Information about CS threats is no longer received every day, but every hour. The USIC offers monitoring from below, both from the private sector and NGOs in real time. 4. On the example of the cyber war for Ukraine, the failures of cooperation between the CIA and the NSA with the military are obvious, where the Pentagon thinks 85% in terms of conventional wars, and not in the development of cyber attacks, for example, from commercial satellites. 5. The comparison of China with Ukraine in cyber warfare does not take into account the linguistic homogeneity of the population of the PRC and the linguistic diversity of Ukraine when waging psychological warfare there on the instructions of AI only in US government agencies. 6. For digital intimidation, there is no base of trained personnel, for example, in Guam and Taiwan, not to mention Ukraine with its intimidation of the Russian Federation. 7. There are boastful statements about the IT industry in the United States, but, they say, the PRC does not have it. 8. As a result of the theft of cyber innovations from the United States, China is counting on the widespread use of the G5 and cyber threats in Chinese through the diaspora in the United States. 9. Only Microsoft has the experience of countering disinformation from China, which appeared when the panic spread in the United States from CV-19 and distortions of the results of the 2020 presidential election. 10. Veterans need new norms of the law against cyber threats from the PRC, the Russian Federation, as well as a bridle of laws against the bad guys, most likely from the MAGA movement. I conclude with these 10 points to review Zoom opinions on September 20th. I regret that on Zoom on the 28th there was not a word about MAGA as an actor against hackers, at least the Chinese ones. With such a strategy, the Dems bureaucracy can't cook porridge even on fire of AI for renegade Republicans and collapsing Dems versus President Trump II. But possible collapse of Putin by November will speed this porridge cooking. The 20th?
Well, guys, that's all I wanted to say today. And goodbye. Pass this information, discuss it, and reply. Okay, bye bye then.